Hi, I'm Carla Wennberg. I'm from St. Andrews University, and welcome to EquestrianCoach.com. We wanted to discuss today some mental preparation for pattern work for the horsemanship. I coach the IHSA Western team here at St. Andrews University. This is Becca Alden, a senior student of mine, open rider from Tucumcari, New Mexico, and she was gracious enough to come today and help us. Every time we go to a show or host a show, we always do a lot of mental prep at home. So I just wanted to share with you some of the things I have learned and I do for myself as well showing, but for my students to help them be very ready mentally for whatever happens with the horse that they draw. I always feel like the mental prep lets you act and then react, or react and act correctly before you do anything on a horse's back. So if you already mentally know what your thought process is and where you're going in the track and the whole mentality of knowing that pattern work afoot, I feel like when you're on a strange horse that your feel will be much better because you've already mentally thought through all the process of the transitions, the maneuvers and everything. So Becca is going to go through the process with us as I do at all of our shows. This is I feel like the students have to get comfortable with the arena that they're in. We're going to probably, after Becca walks the pattern and talks through the pattern, we're going to talk about some visuals that we would use in laying out the pattern work. So I feel like all of those mental preps are very important. Getting a student comfortable in the arena that they're going to show in. Obviously you got to get up early, you got to be there early. As soon as they have the arena open to the people at the horse show, I think you need to get your team in there and get them readied for their pattern work. So this is one of the mental preps that we do. We'll show you the pattern later. Becca's going to walk and talk the pattern as I would have the students do at any show, whether it's a home show or an away show. We always bring cones with us in the van. We always prepare ourselves mentally long before we ever show. So I've asked Becca to go through the thought processes. If you're in the lineup of horses, your thoughts from the start of lineup, the judge nods to you, and then what are you going to do? So, okay, Becca, you can start.
So starting in the lineup, I want to find my visual at cone A. We are going to walk up to cone A to start the pattern. I'd like to be about 1 to 2 feet away from my cone A. Slightly before cone A, I want to pick up my jog and start to extend the jog. I turn up the center. I'm using Carla as my visual. I halt at center in between all 4 cones. This pattern calls for a turn in either direction. I choose to go to the left, a 360. Then I pick up the jog once again and extend the jog. I'm going to make a right turn. At cone B, I'm going to pick up the right lead lope and lope an arc around to C. Leaving enough room around C to where I can clear the cone, I continue loping in a diagonal towards D. Simple change at center to the left lead. At D, I'm going to make an arc around my cone, leaving enough room to where I can clearly make it back to center in between D and A. Continue loping until center, break to the jog. I'm going to halt in between B and C, back 1 horse's length, which is about 4 to 5 steps, and jog to exit.
Okay. So the reason I like to hear a rider talk out loud is shows me their mental process as well. And I make them hold their arms and upper body as if they were showing. I make them lope on the correct lead, on foot, all the things to prepare them mentally, talking about where they're going to stay off the cone, thought process of where they're going to use their eyes. A lot of times when they're doing this, I might say, look more to the left or look more to the right. So I want them to prepare every step of the way and then go over that thought process to themselves, depending on the person that you are, you might have to do it twice, you might have to do it 5 times. You might be the type of person that as long as you've got the visual and your thought process started, that's all you need. But I don't know that until I get into coaching you and understand what your mentality is. So this is one of the things we do, and we do it as a routine. As soon as we arrive at the show, we see what the pattern work is, we get our cones, we go through the thought process, and I rather do it in the arena if I have that possibility. If not, I'm going to do it out in the parking lot. I'm going to do it as many times as I need to see my students do it to make sure their thought process is correct, because going off pattern is something you never need to give up. So if you have not done all your work mentally to get ready for what you're getting ready to perform, you know, as a coach, you need to make sure your student is thinking properly. If you have a student that might get left and rights wrong, you'll know that right away from how they talked about it. They need to go through the process of transitions, the 360, all the thought process of everything that they do. So that's one way I think will help you as a coach to see what your riders are thinking and watch them perform it. I think as a routine, which I'm very routine oriented, and I've made my students very routine oriented, they know their job. And that's part of my job as a coach. I think mental preparation is how you win most events. I feel like you prepare your riders, you have them riding correctly, and if you can master the mental preparation of the pattern work and the thought process that goes with that, I feel like you'll have a lot more success. Thank you.